Welcome back to Nightcap Chat, the pop culture podcast. We talk all things comic books, video games, movies, TV shows, and more. Today we are talking the Avengers data mine leaks and the new weird video game sensation, Fall Guys. I'm Blade O'Neill.
I'm Lance O'Neill.
Before we dive into it, just want to thank you all for taking the time to listen. Don't forget to, if you do enjoy Nightcap Chat, tell your friends about it, post about it on social media. But we all greatly appreciate your support. Something I wanted to talk about last week that we didn't quite get a chance to talk about was there were massive layoffs at DC.
Yeah, there were.
Over 800, I think it was.
Was it that many? 800?
I thought so.
Wow. That's just, it's a shame. And it's scary for the company itself. You already knew about AT&T, who owns them, has been rumored to be trying to get rid of some of the Warner Brother properties. It was rumored for a little bit for the video game company that they have. And then I guess that kind of, they said that wasn't true, but it took them a while to say something. So maybe they weren't getting what they were hoping, or I don't know what the deal is with that. And then there's maybe now, they're talking about trying to just make cutbacks, and they made the changes with DC and how they have the comics sent out. So it seems like they're struggling financially for sure.
In a recent interview, and I've seen Superhero Hype report this and Nerdist report it, but Jim Lee is confirming that original content that is on DC streaming service is going to be migrating to HBO Max. So you almost wonder if they're going to be getting rid of their streaming service, which is it's actually not been doing that great anyway.
Well, I'm going to be honest. What's really on there that would make you go, oh, I want to put money each month towards that. I think it makes much more sense for them as a company, considering what they're offering, to team up with an HBO or a Netflix or something like that to make some money, but not have to worry about, keeping up servers and all that jazz.
I think they could have done it, but they just failed. They had a decent catalog at first, and then they got rid of it and started just doing features. Like they had a Batman month, and most of the stuff available was Batman. And they had a Wonder Woman month, and most of the stuff was Wonder Woman, instead of just keeping the stuff, up there. And some people like the original content that's on DC Universe, but at first I was excited for the Teen Titans, and then it just didn't look good. I'm still not interested. Doom Patrol might be okay. There's a Harley Quinn animated show, but now I think that's on HBO Max now anyway. But I've watched clips from it, and it's so stupid. I don't understand how anybody even enjoys it. There's just blatant cursing for no reason, and then there's just these ridiculous scenes that pop up, especially with I saw this one thing where they cut to Batman, and he made Robin a cake, and he accused him of, Alfred made the cake, and then they made a joke about where babies come from, and then Batman left he was embarrassed. It was really weird. I don't understand the appeal. A lot of weird things like that.
It's kind of weird considering DC's recent history with animated movies and stuff has all been amazing.
Mm-hmm.
They've always had good content on their animated stuff, and everyone always just said if they just took their animated stuff and put it into a movie form, then that's literally all they needed to do to have amazing movies, because their animated stuff is great.
Yeah.
Even the stupid stuff, like the Teen Titans thing, which is Teen Titans Go, is great. The Teen Titans back in the day was great. The Batman back in the day was great. Then some of the newer, the Justice League movies,
and the animated
always
films
good.
like Flashpoint, in particular was really good, and Under the Red Hood, they were great adaptations of the source material. So I think it was possible for DC Universe to be successful, but there's some kind of mismanagement going on somewhere, and it's apparent there as apparent in their movies, and it's really unfortunate because they have a lot of really strong characters.
Yeah, and it's kind of a shame because it feels like the only thing characters that they really have going for them, that's really been a hit is basically Batman still. That's on every front. I mean, as far as there's still Batman video games do well, Batman movies do decent.
Yeah, yeah.
Batman animated stuff usually does pretty well, like everything for Batman. But those other characters really haven't really gone anywhere except for Wonder Woman a little bit. It's only been one
They
film.
just barely started giving Wonder Woman a chance, though.
Right.
She's probably one of the coolest characters.
Yeah, she
And
is.
like they wouldn't. It took this long to have a modern live action movie or TV show or anything, and it was probably their best live action movie to date has been Wonder Woman, at least for me.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, part of that's Gal Gadot. Like she's fantastic as Wonder Woman. The future of DC will certainly be interesting. There's definitely going to be a lot of things coming up, and I'm sure we'll be talking about it. So we'll see what happens. So you recently showed me, or today actually, you showed me there's a data mine from the Avengers, the new Avengers video game that Square Enix is producing, and there's a lot of exciting characters in there.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool, and I'm some of them I'm kind of surprised by, and others I think are just pretty obvious.
Okay.
So for I'm gonna start off with a surprise for me anyway. And you might disagree with me. I don't know. Is Quake? I think it's kind of weird because I feel like you just ended Agents of Shield, right? Mm-hmm. It's over now.
Yeah.
So I feel like Marvel's kind of turning the page. I don't know if they're really going to be incorporating her or anything that has to do with that. So why put her in this video game? She's not, maybe people do like her, so they thought that it would just have an attraction for the game.
Something to take into consideration with her inclusion is how long ago was this freaking game announced?
That's true.
Like this game was announced years and years ago, and
right.
If I'm not mistaken, it might have even been before she was revealed as Quake in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Maybe not, but it was close at least,
mm-hmm.
I think that's something to take into consideration.
Right.
But leaving her in there, that's interesting because Marvel TV is no more anyway. It all got absorbed by Marvel Studios. So maybe we'll see more of Quake later as well. That's something to definitely consider.
It's definitely possible. Another one that I thought was interesting, and I'm only saying this is interesting because of the movie.
I know what you're going to say.
Is Marvel.
Yeah.
Gosh. So what Marvel are we going to get?
If it's not Captain Marvel, a male, not Annette Bening,
right.
like this was a character, and it's for those of you listening, we may seem a little jaded because Captain Marvel is pretty much our dad's favorite Marvel character growing up, Marvel, and to finally get that character on the screen and just have it turn into Annette Bening,
it definitely took a lot away from the character. And the other problem is the fact that, especially for people who are fans of that character, is like the fans would have been okay with the character, and you did the same thing with her where she just immediately dies, but at least you got to see it in like the character in real life, because the character's been dead in the Marvel universe for like 35 years, and they never even really brought him back besides as like a Skrull, and it's not even really him, and it's just like, so you finally actually give that group of people the character, but you don't really even give them
never
the
got a fair interpretation, and didn't look anything
right.
like Marvel, and didn't really act like him or what you imagined or what you would hope to ever see on screen. It would have been neat just to have Marvel as part of the MCU. Like I don't understand the logic between like, let's make this Annette Bening.
Yeah, and I think it also takes to me it takes a lot away from the origin of obviously Brie Larson, who plays Captain Marvel, like the whole reason she calls herself, well, it should be Ms. Marvel then Captain Marvel, but that whole relationship of being saved by Captain Marvel and her surviving the explosion and stuff. It's just, it does take a little bit for me away from that character.
Yeah, they just made it like some kind of weak mentorship or something.
Yeah, like a motherly figure instead of having
but
like
this,
not
even, because like I barely remember them even having much of a dynamic. I feel like Jude Law was like, yeah, we sent Marvel to Earth to do something, and then she kind of like went to go investigate it. Like, just the dynamic fell flat on like every front.
Right.
So I mean, hopefully it's proper Captain Marvel from the comics, Marvel.
Yeah, I hope so, and I feel like it would be, especially since, they're doing like older costumes and paying like homage to like the older characters and like their origins and stuff. So I feel like that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, and they did include Marvel in a recent Marvel Legends line as well. So like, I think they're not afraid to show it. It's just weird.
It is weird.
But I think that's really cool. Like I think that's really exciting to see Captain Marvel involved in anything, because he hasn't really been involved in. Has he been in the Lego games? Like I don't remember him even really being in the Lego games. Although admittedly, I didn't really get very far in the Marvel. Is it Marvel Lego Superheroes 2?
Yeah, I didn't complete that one. I didn't get everybody in that one, and I refused to look up who was in it. But I want to say he was in the second.
Fair enough, but I mean, it's just cool to get to see him in like, because like Lego is its own thing, but like if this is like a proper interpretation, like that could be a lot of fun, and maybe it'll
be very cool.
Kind of make up for what we got in the Captain Marvel Brie Larson movie.
He better destroy. And then obviously with Marvel, there's still Captain Marvel, who I'm assuming when they say Captain Marvel, they mean the female Captain Marvel, right?
Yeah, Carol Danvers.
Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, right? One character that I didn't think they really would do, because I feel like, you should do other characters that would play differently, and that you would maybe like look at doing this character way down the line, which is possible. It's just a data mine, so who knows how close they are to being done. But one of them was War Machine, which I thought was awesome, because as much as I love playing Iron Man, it allows me to play like Iron Man, but in a different dynamic without having, you know what I'm saying?
And maybe it's more like a tank.
It's me, yeah, right. So like, sure, when you play as Iron Man, you could call in a Hulkbuster, but like, what if I just want to play as War Machine and just like wreck people with missiles and machine guns all day? It's just being able to have that option, just for me at least, sounds so cool. And I didn't think that I would even get that, because I feel like it would almost just be like the same thing. People might think that anyway. Like there might not be as much of an incentive for someone to want to like unlock his character or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think that's awesome.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I think, aside from Marvel and Quake, a lot of these were obvious, based on the MCU and the future of the MCU and the Disney Plus shows, except, where'd it go? Oh, here it is. Mockingbird.
Yeah, that's
interesting. We haven't had Mockingbird in the MCU, right?
No, she was in S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh yeah, that's right. See, and that's the Quake thing. That's right. I totally forgot about that. It's been a few years since I've watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, it lost my interest too. I thought Mockingbird was, and I didn't want to say it without saying it.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I mean, like that could have been like the inclusion of those two characters could have been like their support for, that TV show, like back when, this production started.
But everyone else on the list is also, like you said, who you expect, but they're also people who are going to be big catalysts for the rest of the future in the MCU.
Yeah.
And I think from a playing dynamic, like if you want to play as a different characters, and I said this, you know, in the last episode, whenever you play as somebody, it feels like you're playing as the Hulk. It feels like you're playing as Thor. Like you feel like that you're playing with their strengths and their weaknesses. And I think it'd be so cool to play as either Ant-Man or the Wasp in a video game.
Yeah.
Where you could just like shrink down, get really tiny, just throw people around. That sounds like so much fun. Or just get really big. Like that would be so cool. What a cool dynamic in a video game.
Are you going to see? Is it third person? It's third person, right?
It's third person, yeah.
So you're just gonna shrink down and you're just gonna kind of know where you are, and you're gonna be really fast, or are you going to shrink down and you're going to maintain your avatar size, but the world is really big and you're really fast? You know, which is it going to be?
I don't think they would mess with the camera. I think it would just be you're small and
really
fast.
tiny. And it's like, so you see this little
like
dot.
it has to be.
Yeah, I think so too, because it seems like it'd be a lot more work to zoom in that far. I'm not a video game programmer. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure.
That just sounds like you're going to have a lot of like, you know, you do it at a weird time and then your camera's stuck in a wall or something. You know what I mean? It just sounds like a recipe for disaster. But what's interesting is, will Ant-Man be able to be Giant Man? You know?
The question is it going to be Hank Pym or Scott Lang?
I feel like they would want to go with the Lang.
Why?
I'm not saying they should, but I feel like to keep people, you know, with like the MCU and keep it kind of coincide, you know what I mean?
I guess so, but that was one of the disappointments for me with Ant-Man, was that we didn't really get Hank Pym. You know, I feel like we just jumped. Although they could always go back, because he was around, you know, and they've done plenty of flashbacks of him running around as Ant-Man. Almost makes you wonder if they're kind of setting something up, you know, for almost like an old, you know, Avengers or whatever.
I mean, I feel like they still have room to work with, especially with Namor, with the Invaders, and you can.
Wolverine.
I mean, I know you could have Wolverine, and I know, you know, Captain America isn't necessarily, you know, part of the MCU anymore, but you can always just have Captain America, who now went back in time, and you could essentially even have him part of it.
Well, I mean, it has nothing to do with any of the stuff. Like he was around. You know, I think we've talked about on previous episodes. It would be really cool to see the Invaders, you know, filling in the blanks, you know, in some of the past events. I don't know. I would like to see Hank Pym just kind of keep it fresh, kind of give us what we didn't get. Pym fighting with the modern Avengers. I mean, he was there from the beginning, you know, so it's kind of weird.
Right. It would also be cool to summon like thousands of ants and just like murder somebody.
That's weird. That's kind of creepy.
It is kind of creepy.
It's terrifying.
The Vision should be interesting, because it's cool to see, you know, the different skins of Vision and how that's going to play out. And then obviously you phase through people and stuff. So he'd be a really fun character to play with.
Phase through people, turn to diamond.
Yeah.
It could be really fun gameplay. Black Panther, of course, you know, it was a very successful character, successful movie. That should be interesting, because you should be agile. You should have vibranium armor. Right. You know,
you should play a lot like Black Widow.
Interesting. Sure. I think Doctor Strange would be fun. Have some magic, have some flying. Do some
I think
crazy
what's
stuff.
cool about him, because of the gameplay, you choose, you know, you have your like skill tree, and you can choose different moves. Like, you know, I can be Iron Man and I can choose that I just shoot, you know, his repulse blaster out of his hand or his rocket out of his wrist, right? Whereas Doctor Strange, I mean, he has so many thousands of spells. You could just be like, oh, I'm the Doctor Strange that knows this spell or that spell, and you can always play with him in different ways, you know?
Huh. Interesting. Yeah.
So he could be really fun and exciting to play with.
And then we got Falcon. Of course, because we've got the Disney Plus show coming.
But here's the real question: when you get Falcon, is it Falcon with an actual Falcon, or is it gonna be Falcon with the dumb little like robot thing?
I think he's just gonna have wings.
But he's not gonna have his little companion to come by, because even in the MCU, that he has his stupid little flying buddy.
I guess it was more like a drone.
Yeah,
I think they're just gonna do that. Having an actual Falcon's a little too weird.
I think it'd be cool.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Winter Soldier, same thing with Falcon.
Right.
Scarlet Witch, probably one of the most powerful characters on there.
Yeah, and should be amazing to play as. Be cool to have all of her different skins too.
She should have like some degree of probability control, right? Or
yeah,
or am I mixing her up with?
No, she has probability control.
That would be interesting. It'd be cool if she could like cast something and would like rewind time and give you a chance to like do it again. That would be crazy.
That'd be cool. Well, she might be a character that could heal people too. Like you can go back in time and take less damage. I don't know.
Interesting. Kate Bishop, we've got the Hawkeye show.
And in case you guys don't know, they're saying Kate Bishop, but Hawkeye was already confirmed as the first DLC character. So they're already going to have Hawkeye.
Yeah.
So adding Kate Bishop's cool.
She'll probably be part of that first DLC.
Right.
Of course, She-Hulk. Maybe be like Hulk with a twist. Kind of similar idea as War Machine. Iron Man with a twist maybe. Maybe she's a little faster.
Yeah, a little faster, a little less tanky.
Yeah.
And obviously a lot smaller hitbox.
Yeah, definitely. That would definitely be cool. And She-Hulk's probably one of the Disney Plus shows I'm probably most looking forward to. But it's good to see some of these characters on the horizon. It almost doesn't seem like too many characters still, just because of the Lego games. But you kind of gotta like separate it out. Like how much work goes into fine tuning each of these, as opposed to just being a little Lego running around and have like the same, 4 or 5 abilities, just with like little slightly different animations,
Yeah, it should be. It's exciting to see that these are the characters that they're at least thinking about, and I really hope that all these fall through, and there's going to be a lot more.
Yeah, still no X-Men, so I guess we'll see about that.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like you said, I'm sure these are characters that they thought about when they initially launched. Started developing the game 2-3 years ago. X-Men. At that point, we had no idea what was going to happen with them because Disney didn't have the rights or anything. So they probably were just focusing on this, and then they're saying that they have this planned out for the next like 4 or 5 years. So I mean that's great. But I'm sure now that they have Marvel has the rights to X-Men, they'll probably start thinking about adding, at least the big people, like Cyclops, Jean Grey, Wolverine, the main, like most popular characters. I could definitely see them being there.
Yeah, that would be cool. Unless they're saving it for a sequel or something.
That's right. Or just another side game, just the X-Men game.
Yeah. Square Enix's X-Men.
That'd be cool.
Square Enix video game universe. Be on board. It might be fun. But yeah, we'll see what happens, and we'll see if this data mine is even true. But it's fun to speculate. So there's a video game we've been playing. Lots of people have been playing. I believe it's the beta kind of got a lot of hype, and this game quickly became #1 on Twitch, right? I think it was #1 on Twitch for a while.
Yeah, almost every day.
Yeah, one of the or a couple of the streamers that I watch was playing it. Like what is this? And it did actually look like fun, and we've recently tried it, and it is a lot of fun. And that game is Fall Guys, as you know if you listen to the beginning of this episode. It's such a on paper it looks like just like a weird little under the radar kind of game, but it's the new Fortnite. if you will.
Yeah, it looks almost stupid. I'm not gonna lie. When you if you were to just see like screenshots of the game, you'd be like, "This is dumb."
Yep.
I'm not really gonna consider playing it. It might be fun for like you think it'd be like maybe it's fun for like an hour and that's it.
Yeah.
This game is a blast,
Mm-hmm.
and it's so silly. If you guys don't know anything about it, it's basically like a I don't know, a 60-man race, and you have multiple rounds, right? It's like mini games of like Mario Party or Super Monkey Ball or something like that, where you can play with a group of people, but you also get put into a lobby of 60 people, and there's like 4 or 5, 6 rounds depending on how many people get eliminated, and it's what a fun game it is.
Yeah, so that's in a nutshell. So like to play a game, you get put in a lobby with 60 of you, and each round a certain number of you gets eliminated, and they're mostly like races. Sometimes there's other things, like there's the soccer, or the thing where there's a certain amount of balls in the middle of the map, and you have to keep the most amount of balls on your side,
right?
Which not quite soccer, it's similar. But
there's an egg game. You have to hold your egg, grab the eggs and bring them to your side,
and bring them to your basket. So it's like it's a mini game each round. I think what's so addicting about it is 60 of you go in, but only one of you wins. So there's that kind of Fortnite factor that's been popular. Like there's only one winner. I still haven't won yet. I've played for a few days now. Like I have not won yet. I've made it to the last round, but I have not won. I do really want to win though. I'm going to keep going back for that win there. It's interesting because the menu and everything is also very similar to Fortnite. Like they lifted it, right from them. Like there's your character, and you could see your friends that you've loaded with, and there's the little menu. Is very, very similar like menu screen to Fortnite, and then just the whole concept of the knockout and the one winner. But it's not a shooting game like Fortnite. It's mini games like you said, like Mario Party, like Super Monkey Ball, like American Ninja Warrior.
Yeah, that's basically it in a nutshell.
Kind of like things like that. But it's it's family friendly, laid back fun. And if you get knocked out, you get a little break before the next round. Another thing I think that kind of keeps things interesting is, so like in Fall Guys, like you're this little bean, like this little bean with eyes and arms and legs, and you're wearing a stupid costume, but like you can unlock different color schemes and different costumes, and like that's something that's going to help keep it interesting. And I think that's something that's been apparent with Fortnite, because at first the costumes weren't interesting, and I didn't care about unlocking any of them until I saw the John Wick one. Not because of John Wick. Like I don't care about John Wick, but there was a guy with a beard and a black suit, and like I was like, oh, that looks like me. Like that's what I would wear, and that was cool. And then of course, you have the knockoff superhero costumes, and then the real superhero costumes later on. Which
it was kind of funny how that it was like the third season, because the DC was starting to get booming, and when Marvel was like basically in its prime, and the first, like the second, third Avengers movie was coming out or whatever, and they were just putting off these knockoff like superhero, like this knockoff Wonder Woman costume, this knockoff Iron Man thing,
Thor, knockoff Black Panther,
Thor, right? And then end up 2 years later they just put out real superhero, which is crazy. But yeah, this video game is very similar to that, where they have like these silly skins, but you still want to play them. And Fortnite has that too, where it's like, okay, like they have a skin where you're a hot dog, and it's just like, it's just silly, but it's like, cool, I want to play as a hot dog.
I want the French fries so bad.
Right.
I haven't had the opportunity to unlock it yet. I don't have the option. I want to be the French fries. I want to be French fries.
And then there's one where you could be like a little baseball player, dude. I want the baseball player.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's so popular already. It would be interesting to see if they get similar licensing deals, because somehow Fortnite not only made deals with Marvel and Star Wars, but also DC within the same game.
Well, I don't know if you saw on their Twitter today, but they put up Twitter? on Fall Guys' Twitter. They said that they are open for bids for someone to have their own skin in the game. I don't know if you've been paying attention to that.
No.
Have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
Oh, and so a bunch of companies have been bidding on skins. It started off at like $2,000 and now it's up to $100K, the current bid. But what I thought was funny was, at first it was it went to like $20,000 and it was Warframe. They posted on there and said, we'll put $20,000, and they even already put a picture of what they thought that they want their character to look like. It was crazy. I was like, holy crap. And then for $30K, a company, and I don't even know the name of the company, and I feel so bad, but it's a company that makes bidets. Okay. And they just had a shirt on that says, it says, how's your butt feel? And it was just a character, and that's all they had for
Oh my gosh. Wow.
And then they ended up getting outbid eventually. Right now the current bid's $100K, and it's by Mr. Beast, of course, because he just always throws around that kind of money.
Mr. Beast, is that
the YouTuber
like streamer? Oh, okay.
No, the YouTuber.
It's not a familiar.
But we'll see where that goes. But it should be interesting to see if they start getting partnerships, and especially if they weren't. They probably, when you make that game, you're probably not expecting to throw that much money into it, right away. You're hoping it it builds up and becomes popular. But this game just like took off. Yeah. So I'm sure they're probably working on, and they've already put out some updates already, where they added a couple new game modes and fixed some bugs. Obviously, that comes with the territory, right?
Yeah.
But I think the only thing stopping this game from like going on is they need to do what Fortnite does and put out like weekly or bi-weekly updates of like new game modes, or just changing up how the game modes are won, or whatever the case is, because it's fun. But there's probably, I'd say, 10 or 12 different different game modes that you can play. And eventually that will obviously get stale. Yes. It's not like Fortnite where it's a shooting game. You're literally just going through the same course or the same objective every time.
And then you figure out the strategy for that course.
Right. So it's definitely has a lot of potential, and especially with the skins, to make it, to give people an incentive to, oh my gosh, I want this stuff. And they already have a battle pass. So if you guys are listening, you want to play, season 1 already started for the battle pass. So you better get on that. It's not that hard to get to. I'm already halfway through it, and we only played for a couple of days.
So. Yeah, and here's the thing too. Like it's this month's free PlayStation Plus game. So if you have a PlayStation 4 and you have PlayStation Plus, like you don't even have to pay for it, to get started. But you're absolutely right. And I was going to ask you like what you think will keep the momentum of this going. And I completely agree with you. And I think they are planning on releasing more courses, because like that's what's going to keep this interesting. You can only do the same obstacle course, so many times without it being boring. And then I think once you get to a certain point, you can, remove some, put them back. Oh, this season we're taking away the hexagon one, but we're inserting the whatever. The whatever's the new thing. That will keep it interesting. And I think Fortnite kind of does similar things with removing certain in-game items and then adding some, removing them.
They get rid of certain guns and bring them back. And
yeah, that will keep it interesting. That along with the opportunity for different, unique skins, of course, and, different kinds of cosmetics. Cosmetics are fun. That's like Overwatch keeps going on cosmetics. Like that's their main, updates with their loot boxes and events. You get all these different cosmetics. Like I still play, for I'm working on the summer games event just for the Far skin,
Yeah, and I think one huge thing, um, that's a positive for them, and they could change it. But when you're playing the game, it's literally, if you're worried about like, oh my gosh, it's so hard for me to pick up a game and play it. I don't you don't play consistently, and sometimes for certain games, especially like Fortnite, where you have so many buttons, you have to build and all this crazy stuff. It's hard for casual people to kind of stay good at it. This game literally has 3 buttons. Like, there's no like I have to be good at this. It's jump, grab, and dive, and that's it. Like, you just have to know X, square, and R2. That's all, and then the joysticks to move. That's basically
dodge,
it. So it's super simple.
Dive and dodge.
and I think the other thing, my point is, and I'm not saying they have to, but they could even add like just one other thing to do in the game to change the dynamic of the game a little bit. Like, it's only 3 buttons. You could add a 4th button to maybe do something a little different, to be like, oh, like this makes it a little different or more fun, or like a sprint button, or a crawl button, or something weird,
or like a spin.
Yeah, something like that.
Something that maybe works in conjunction with a new kind of obstacle that we might see.
And I also think with when you have a game that's this popular, and I always look back at games like like Fortnite and games like Halo, where this game is fun to play with your friends, right? And that's where you're gonna kind of make your money, is from like the casual people who just want to play a game and have fun with their friends. This isn't competitive or anything. They should, in my opinion, work on a custom game mode, where you could either like customize and make your own maps. Because how simple would it be just to take everything you already have, the little pieces, and just say, okay, here are all the pieces. You get this much, room, and you have this big of a room. Absolutely. And you can make your own obstacle course and play with your friends in like a private little game. That'd be so much fun. And then you could even have it like similar to even Overwatch or Fortnite, where, okay, this is the most popular map, and everyone can you can go play a random game with 60 people of this like custom game map that someone made that is like super cool and super fun. Because Halo had that, Overwatch has that.
And you can play soccer,
could be amazing,
or football, basketball, or whatever. Some kind of like ball games. Yeah, you're absolutely correct. I could totally see that coming down the line.
And I think, as far as and I think this whole like 60-person thing's cool. The matchmaking, and you could be in a team of 4 or 1, doesn't really matter. I also think that they should also add maybe like I'm just throwing ideas, right? So like a limited time mode, kind of like Fortnite does, where it's like you can, and instead of just a regular queue, there's another queue where you could play the games, but it's like low gravity. So every time you jump, it's a little risky, or it's just something a little different to change it up. Because even if they did that keeps things fresh. You don't have to worry about putting out a whole new map, because that could get difficult to try to change it up all the time, because not everyone's going to like everything. But if you change the game mode where it's just low gravity, or you run a lot faster, so it makes it a little more difficult, because you don't want to fall off. Just little things like that can really change a game and make it just that much more playable.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I mean, there's got to be more game modes coming. Like, I don't even think that's a question, because I mean their success is contingent upon it,
Right.
Like I said, it is a lot of fun, even if you're just casual. I mean, like, every time like we've played, with our friends and stuff, we're laughing and shouting, like in a
screaming,
good way,
yeah, in a good way.
It's not stressful. I'm not saying video games are stressful, but I mean, it's I don't know what I'm trying to say.
I don't know about not stressful, because like every time I was in the finals, I'm like, my heart is racing. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm about to win.
You're pumped. You're pumped in a good way,
I know. But I was literally like, last night, we played last night, right? It was last night, right? Or was it 2 nights ago?
I didn't play last night.
No, it was 2 nights ago when we played. I was literally shaking. I was so nervous when I was on the hexagon just jumping, and I got the first win of the night. I was literally like, I was like, oh my gosh, I was like having a hard time keeping the guy from like walking straight. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna mess up so bad. I wanted to win so bad.
That's really funny.
And just so you guys know, everyone out there, I have 3 wins. Okay, I'm okay. I'm not horrible.
Okay, yeah, I don't have a win yet. Yeah, it's definitely worth checking out. Like, if you get the opportunity, if you have a PlayStation, just download it. If you have friends that are interested, I definitely recommend just going for it. Like, if you like video games, like you'll enjoy it. You know, it's
and it's also
definitely-
on Steam, and it's only $20. It's
Yeah.
not like a $60 game. It's unfortunately not on Xbox though. So any of you guys out there on Xbox, sorry, but
yeah,
better
that's
luck
okay.
next time, I guess.
I mean, Steam is close enough, so you can play it on PC.
Plus, I'm sure that game doesn't take much to run. Even if you don't have a great computer, I can't see it being all that difficult for anyone's just regular computer to be able to download and run that game.
It's a lot of fun. I'll continue to play it, and I will update you all as soon as I get a win. Like you guys will know about it. I will let you know. I will make the Nightcap chat news. But we appreciate you all taking the time to listen to us. You know, let us know in the comments below. You know, have you tried Fall Guys? Do you like it? You know, what's your favorite level? You know, like I think mine is the hexagon one, even though I haven't won. I just think it's fun in its simplicity. You know, what's your favorite?
Yeah, my favorite one is, it has to be the hexagon one. It's definitely the best. I think most people say that because I feel like every streamer I've watched, they always say they love the hexagon.
Okay.
There's something about it that's so like, it's just fun because like you can mess up a couple times, but then you're still there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But it's just once you hit the bottom, then you're like, oh no. Like it's fun and like kind of stressful, but not too stressful. You know, it's
more and more intense each time you fall. Like, oh no, no, until it's down to the wire and these little things are falling. But thank you all for listening, liking, sharing, and subscribing. You know, if you do enjoy Nightcap Chat, you know, leave those reviews wherever you may listen to Nightcap Chat. But we love you all. Be safe, and we'll catch you all next week.
Have a good night.